The Birth of a Nation, The History of America. A cinematic narrative for voiceover and film. Prologue, The Dawn of a New World, 1607. Sound of waves. Wooden ships creak under the morning sun. A soft wind carries seagulls' cries. Narrator, deep, emotional voice. In 1607, wooden ships drifted through the morning fog, carrying not warriors, but dreamers. Farmers, craftsmen, preachers, and wanderers, bound by faith and hope. They stepped onto the unfamiliar shores of the New World. The soil was rich but wild. The forests whispered with danger. Every sunrise was a struggle, every night a prayer.
Soon they'll tax the very
They built with trembling hands, hearts heavy with hunger and fear.
We must act now.
Yet beneath it all lived a vision. A place where no king ruled their conscience, where freedom could take root like a seed.
These truths.
From that seed, watered by faith, hardened by loss, grew the first roots of a nation. Chapter 1, The Fire of Revolution, 1775 to 1783. Music rises, low drums, faint horns, marching feet. Narrator. More than a century passed. 13 colonies grew, one in spirit. But as the land prospered, chains of injustice tightened from across the ocean. Taxation without representation. Control without compassion. Whispers of rebellion echoed in taverns, churches, and hearts. Farmers laid down plows, merchants became patriots, students became soldiers. On July 4, 1776, defiance was sealed with ink and courage. In Philadelphia, Thomas Jefferson's pen danced across parchment. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. Freedom had been declared, yet freedom demands sacrifice. Across Lexington, Concord, and Bunker Hill, smoke rose, blood fell. The British Empire faced an army of farmers, blacksmiths, and believers. No uniforms, little wealth, but unwavering conviction. After 8 long years, the final musket fell silent. The dream survived. The United States of America was born.
Yet amid the chaos.
Chapter 2, A Nation Divided, 1861 to 1865. Dark clouds gather. Thunder blends with distant cannon fire. Narrator. Freedom, once won, is not easily kept. The ink of liberty had barely dried before its meaning was tested. Slavery, the great shadow of the new republic, tore at the heart of the nation. North and South stood as mirror images of one people, bound by hatred and history. Chapter 2, A Nation Divided, 1861 to 1865. Sound of thunder, distant cannons. Narrator.
We are so proud of
In
you.
1861, brother turned against brother. The Union trembled. Fields once rich with harvest became graves. At Gettysburg, smoke cloaked the rising sun. Over 50,000 souls perished in 3 days. The cost of freedom measured in blood, not words. Amid the carnage stood a tall man in a black coat, President Abraham Lincoln. With weary eyes and a heart heavy with grief, he spoke to generations yet unborn. That government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. Though the war ended, its wounds ran deep, scars time alone could not heal.
A new kind of
The
war
Union
has
survived,
begun.
but innocence did not. Chapter 3, The Age of Industry and Immigrants, 1870 to 1914. Narrator. When the smoke of war cleared, America rose, not through battle, but ambition. Steam engines roared, factories hummed, cities grew like iron forests. Millions crossed oceans seeking the promise the settlers once dreamed of, a chance.
One small step for
Irish,
man.
Italian, German, Polish, Chinese, different tongues, same hunger. They built railroads, dug mines, and raised steel towers that touched the clouds. In their sweat, the American dream found new life. But dreams cast shadows. Children worked where men should have stood. Wealth rose for few, poverty deepened for many. Yet amid chaos and greed, one belief endured. Anyone, from anywhere, could rise.
Are you
Chapter
seeing
4,
this?
Yeah, it's
A World at
everywhere.
War,
The people
1914 to 1945. Drums, faint explosions, wind through ruins. Narrator. When Europe burned in 1914, America watched, hesitant, distant, awake. When the world begged, she answered. Sons of farmers and immigrants crossed oceans, not to conquer, but to defend. They fought through the mud of France, the storms of the Atlantic, the jungles of the Pacific.
Showing
When peace
freedom,
came,
not
it
as
was
fire,
fragile.
but as light.
2 decades
passed
later,
between
darkness
souls.
rose again. World War II was a war for humanity itself. In Bastogne, Normandy, above Japan. Liberty's torch was carried by believers. When the smoke cleared in 1945, the world looked to America. Not as an empire, but as
As
hope
you can
reborn.
see, the coordinates confirm
Chapter
the insurgent
5,
stronghold.
The Dream of Equality,
We project the convoy will
1950 to
utilize this northern
1970.
pass.
Soft piano, distant church bells. Narrator. The war was over, but peace did not mean justice. A new generation rose, not with rifles, but resolve. In Montgomery and Selma, voices rose in song, in pain, in faith. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. stood beneath Lincoln's shadow. I have a dream. His dream echoed Jefferson's aim, Lincoln's tears, the cries of every forgotten soul. Dreams come at a price. He fell, but the dream lived on, in classrooms, protests, and hearts that refused hate. Chapter 6, The Cold War and the Space Age, 1950 to 1990. While the world reached for peace, the sky became the battlefield.
Yet amid the chaos,
2 giants, the
the
United
dream
States and the Soviet
endured.
Union, faced each other. The threat of nuclear fire loomed, yet in fear, humanity found courage. Rockets replaced rifles. In 1969, Neil Armstrong's boot pressed into moon dust. The world held its breath. For a brief moment, all humankind stood together. One small step for man, he said. A giant leap for the dream that began on wooden ships long ago. Chapter 7, The Trials of a New Century, 1990 present.
Welcome
Somber
home,
piano,
son.
soft wind,
I
faint
miss you
city
so
sounds.
much.
Narrator.
We are so
The
proud
century
of you.
turned, bringing new storms. The towers fell on a clear September morning. America was tested again. Fire and ash filled the sky, but in the streets, strangers held strangers. Proving the human spirit endures. Soldiers marched again, not for land, but for peace. They carried memories, not medals. They fought for children they'd never meet. At home, technology changed everything. Screens replaced pages. Voices grew louder, not always wiser.
men who
The
fought
world became
not for
faster,
land,
smaller,
but
more
for
divided.
liberty.
Yet, hope remains. America's story is not about perfection, but perseverance. Epilogue, The Spirit of a
Technology
Nation.
changed.
Soft
Mission
sunrise
remained the
music,
same.
orchestral
Duty
finale.
above all.
Narrator, warm, solemn. From the first settlers to
Peace
dreamers
is
who
not the
reached the
absence of
stars.
war. It's the
America's
burden
story
soldiers
is not
carry
written
home.
in war victories or wealth. It is written in hearts that believed. Freedom, once lit, must never fade. A people who built hope from hardship. A nation that fell and rose again. A promise carried from generation to generation. Tomorrow can always be better than today.
Confirming visual,
As
sending
the sun
coordinates
rises
now.
over the land of the free, the flag still waves. Not as conquest, but courage. The true strength of America is not might. It is humanity. Musical note music fades. Silence. Soft piano chord. Title
Dear
card.
Mom.
Dove, The Birth of a Nation, The History of America. A cinematic short film by Military Realism on